Hi there, grade 12s, and welcome to the last theory video for the IEB learners. And again, 2022, 2023, and the prelim of this year we're going to be looking at. So let's go and have a look at what that last section is all about. Okay, so let's get that in there. So now we're dealing with section C, and section C is around 50 marks. 50 marks, and this is really your integrated scenario. So let me just get 23 there as well, so that we have those two open and go all the way down to section C like we have done in the other videos. We can see exactly what's happening there. And then I just want to get those memos onto a different page so that we can make sure that the answers we are giving is what they want from us. Okay, remember, we want to get the correct terminology, we want to get the correct wording so that we can maximize the marks that we're going to get. Okay, so with this section, you are going to be looking at your integrated scenarios. So you can see here, question 6, if we scroll down, section C, there we go. You'll see you will get a scenario, integrated scenario. That means that the scenario can draw on all the theory that you have done so far, and test you basically on that. So let's have a look here at a particular scenario. This one is talking about 3D avocados fully equipped with micro sensors and packed between real avocados. They've just returned to the country after an international shipping trip. This is from, I think this one is 2022. No, 2023. Okay, so there they give us a nice long scenario, talk about 3D printers, etc. So let's see what kind of questions in 2023, sorry now that I'm starting with 2023, have actually come from this. Let me just get right. So the first term that comes up, and again, guys, go check out the gizmo.ai platform. The link is in the description. So first thing they talk about is the Internet of Things, and they want you, have a look at this, to define the Internet of Things and to mention 2 advantages of the Internet of Things. So if you're not sure about that definition, here's that definition. Many devices are connected to the internet and can be controlled through the internet / without humans to device interaction / communicate with each other. Okay, so just get that, and you see here your advantages. It allows objects to be sensed and controlled remotely. It creates opportunities for more direct integration of the physical world into computer-based systems. It improves efficiency, accuracy, etc. So that's what we're talking about. So there you can see Internet of Things. Then they go down and they chat a little bit about blogs. So again, not just what a blog is, but suggest 2 ways in which they can attract or maintain a community's interest. So how would you get the community's interest with regards to your blog? Well, you want to make sure that your blog is updated regularly. You want to use catchy, titles. I mean, look at YouTube with their thumbnails. You want to have links to your work. You want to have, consistent design and formatting, so people will want to come to your site and want to read your blog. Okay. Moving on with our scenario here, they talk about video conferencing. So please, when it comes to video conferencing, think of the fact that you are using certain hardware. So when you think of video conferencing, you're thinking of your laptop, your webcam, your audio, your projector, the cables needed, connecting wirelessly or wired, what the advantages are, data usage when it comes to that as well. Okay, here's more on video conferencing. So things like Skype, things like Zoom, WhatsApp call, right? The WhatsApp video call also in that. Then you can see tying in with that, because now they're giving you the whole scenario around like, video conferencing and stuff. And then they talk about the specs of the PC. I cannot emphasize enough how important this is. And I've done videos on this already, so please go and check it out. But you need to know this, because look at this. Why is it advisable to upgrade the RAM to 16 gigs? Well, at the moment, you've only got 8 gigs. Number one, you can only go up to 16 gigs, but why is it advisable? Because your programs are going to load faster. Your operating system is going to load quicker. The way if you have multiple programs, it's going to be able to handle that in terms of what you are doing. And then the laptop's display, right? You want everyone in the hall to see, but the laptop's only got a 14-inch display. Well, we can use a projector, a large screen, all these type of things. There we go. This is exactly what I spoke about. The HDMI ports. What does it stand for? What does it do? Let's go. Okay, still video conferencing. The 4-in-1 card reader slot. Why do you have a 4-in-1 card reader slot? So that your laptop can actually read the different size memory cards that are out there. Okay, RSI, repetitive strain injury. Let's see what else. Green computing, that's something. Do you see how all these different concepts are coming in? 3D printing as well, right? That was question 8. Question 9, again, integrated scenario. So here they're talking about digital cameras. The camera specification includes your megapixel resolution, memory card, autofocus. And then they go into detail on that, right? What does it mean to have a 40 megapixel camera? How could the 40 megapixel resolution be a disadvantage, right? How could it actually work against you? Why? The minute these numbers increase, think of your phones. It means that the size of the image is going to increase as well. So if you're having like a 100 megapixel camera, can you imagine how big each one of those files are, which means I'm going to be able to take less photos, okay? Talk about a bit about the memory cards and benefits. What do we have here? So what two words make up the term pixel? And that's actually from the word picture element, or words picture element. Okay, apart from autofocus, describe one feature you'd expect to see on a digital camera, right? You can use any of the ones. Think of your phone again. You've got an auto flash. You've got stability. You've got the fact that it can pick out faces, all those type of things. All right, and there we go, talking about your smartphones. And they're going to the smartphones, differences, looking at buying a laptop instead of a smartphone, so be able to compare those things. Here they talk about Google Maps and GPS, things like that. So I'm just showing you what's been there in 2023. And then you can see they bring in some things like bookmarks, citations. 3 problems in the wizard below that will affect the quality of the data when the import process is complete. So what should happen is the first row, because now look at that first row. There's no proper headers there. So the first row should be used, or should be set to field name. So looks like you're importing this into Access. If you've got missing field names, now look at this. There's an issue as well. So you've got some missing fields, and the wrong delimiter was also used. So you need to be able to basically check the picture, see what the problems are, and then identify those. Here's another one, same story, and then from HTML as well, and that rounds up that for 2023. So let's go and have a look at 2022. Let's see what they've done. Okay, so no. So question number 9, our integrated scenario again. Right, so same story. Here you can see this one's also talking about social networks, gaming software on different platforms, and specifically your operating systems. So yeah, they're say motivate why the same application needs to be programmed differently for different operating systems. Now we know each operating system uses a completely different way of working with the software and working with the hardware, so it has to be sorted out like that or designed appropriately. The term backward compatibility, meaning that the newer technology can work with some of the older ones. Here we have icons. Here we go. One of the gamers will use the headset in figure 7. So they want you to identify this. This is you can either use head-mounted display, or you can say your virtual reality headset. Okay, you can use either one of those. That's what they say. Give the most appropriate name. Then the headset supports plugins, so you need to be able to say what a plugin is, and a plugin is basically software that adds a specific feature or functionality to your software. 2 types of sensors found in gaming devices. So, that could be a sensor for movement, a sensor for sound, a sensor for light, depending on what you're going to be busy with. 2 alternative input devices your parents would need to purchase for these gamers to enable them to play the games, because the gamers might be unable to use their hands. So how are they going to work with that? Maybe some voice recognition software, maybe a foot pedal device, maybe a motion sensor, anything that is going to give an instruction to the PC, to the game, as to what it needs to do. All right, then we've got AR. AR is what? Augmented reality. Okay, augmented reality. And the typical question that comes up is, what's the difference between AR and VR? Okay, and then there you can see they ask you for disadvantages. Do you see when I've said to you in the past, advantages and disadvantages, you need to know like about 2 of them. Okay, it's tying in with what I've said there. Then another scenario, and you can see once they're done with this stuff, what happens? You start getting some integrated scenario questions based on like practical work. Like, yeah, this is Access. Okay, Word. What do they say? 2 problems the learners might encounter when using the internet cafe. Follow below. Suggest 2 solutions that they can attempt when troubleshooting the problems. The printer is functional, and the document has been sent to the printer, but it does not want to print. So have they selected the correct printer? Have they checked to see that there's paper in the printer? Is there a paper jam? Are the drivers correct? Maybe there's no toner, no ink, any of those type of things. There are a few lines of text that don't fit onto the page. Well, adjust the margins, reduce the font size, maybe the line spacing. Maybe when you print, go like fit to page, any of those things. The save and save as command. So you can see, folks, even in 2022, they're looking at the same sort of structure that we've seen in 2023, with some, it's almost like 3/4 of it is, all your different CAT concepts and things like it in terms of theory. And then they bring in a few prac questions into the theory as well. All right, so let's go and look at the 2024 prelim theory paper. And there you can see we've got our scenario, and there we've got various questions, things like, what is an algorithm? Right? Elaborate on what this means. And 1 advantage and 1 disadvantage of cloud storage. 2 hardware components that could be upgraded to improve the performance of the computer. Hardware component most critical for graphic intensive applications. 1 advantage and disadvantages of having everyone on the same network. A domain name and email address needs to be set up. Suggest a suitable domain name and an appropriate email address. Remember what that is. When we look at our email, like, let's say it's myname@gmail.com. Gmail.com is that domain name. All right. Each team must have 1 member who's responsible for updating a blog. You see, that has come in before. Our blogs. An advantage of using an online form instead of an email. More on online forms, and the difference between this is a typical one that's come up. Closed and open-ended questions. Then Trojans, viruses, biometric scanner, blog URLs in the browser to keep the tabs open, your servers, your networks, okay, e-waste, difference between a single user license and a site license, why a site license is beneficial over the single user license, the term netiquette and what that refers to, the difference between a search engine and a web browser, and then to be able to give examples of that as well. 2 features that are available on computers to assist these users. What's wrong with these users? They have very poor eyesight. So don't refer, they tell you they're not to refer to the other question, but you need to come up with some solutions there as well. And then again, do you see? Screenshots of an email, and how would you know that this email is not legitimate? What is the common term or category given to this type of email, right? The main purpose of an email like that. Provide a suitable definition for the term artificial intelligence. Suggest 2 ways that AI could be helpful to learners. And bringing in cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. So there we have it, grade 12s. That's really what you can expect to see in section C of your upcoming grade 12 theory paper. And really that's it from me, Mr. H, for your grade 12 year. I wish you all of the best, not just for CAT, but for all of your other exams as well. Thank you so much for your support, and I hope that you get the marks that you thoroughly deserve.